I wanted to make a video and talk about the people who have influenced me the most in my vegan lifestyle. And I had originally intended to pick 5 people and go with them, but that's impossible. The list just kept growing and growing, and I'm now up to 15 people, and I could put a lot more on it, but I basically have spent the past year studying this subject. I became a vegan a year ago, actually July the 2nd of 2012. And every single day, I'm retired, so every single day I watch everything and read everything that I can to try to learn more about vegan nutrition and the vegan lifestyle in general. But the 15 people I've picked have been a huge influence on me, and the first one would be Dr. Dean Ornish. And I picked Dr. Ornish first because his was the first book that I read on this topic. And Dr. Ornish and his research actually proved that you can reverse heart disease with a vegan lifestyle, a plant-based diet. He also wrote The Spectrum. I read that book as well. Dr. Ornish has been a huge influence on not only the vegan community, but he's brought a lot of people to the plant-based diet. Along with his work, I would include Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, who wrote Preventing and Reversing Heart Disease. I read that book early on. Dr. Esselstyn is over 80 years old, and his message, his mantra is no oil, no oil. So when my vegetarian wife wants to put more olive oil in the dishes, I hear Dr. Esselstyn saying no oil, and it influences me a lot. Dr. John McDougall has been a huge influence on me. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Dr. McDougall. He wrote The Starch Solution, and that probably is the diet that I follow the closest, and then I modify it with some other doctors' recommendations like Dr. Joel Fuhrman. I read 3 of Dr. Fuhrman's book, Super Immunity, Eat to Live, and The End of Diabetes. And Dr. Fuhrman has a message of higher nutrient density. All of his foods he wants to be of the highest nutrient density possible, and so that also influences my diet. I start with Dr. McDougall's, and I emphasize no oil, and then I make sure everything is highly nutrient dense, and so those doctors have had a big influence on me. Dr. Neal Barnard, I read his Food for Life fairly early on, and Dr. Barnard is the founder of Physicians for Responsible Medicine, has been an incredible influence on not only the vegan community, but laws and the directions that the American people should be taking on their diets. Dr. Barnard also is an excellent presenter, and you'll see a lot of his videos on YouTube. Dr. Michael Greger, he owns nutritionfacts.org. He has a very unique delivery style on his videos, and I really do enjoy him. He's incredibly funny. His videos are always concise and packed full of information, and Dr. Greger has been a great source for me. He's got hundreds of videos on YouTube, and I've watched every one of them that I can find, and it's taken me the greater part of a year to do that. Of course, Dr. T. Colin Campbell, who wrote the China Study, and he now has a new book that I think is great. It's Whole, Rethinking the Science of Nutrition, and in that he stresses whole foods and the 80-10-10 diet. And of course 80-10-10 refers to 80% of your calories from carbohydrates and 10% from protein and 10% from fat. But Dr. Campbell has been incredibly influential. Dr. Doug Graham, chiropractor. Of course, you can't talk about 80-10-10 without talking about his book, 80-10-10. And he has been a great influence on the raw vegan community and also the fruitarians and on all of us actually. But his book is a classic, 80-10-10. I can't talk about classics without mentioning John Robbins. and Diet for a New America. That's the book that absolutely convinced me that I never want to eat another animal product. Of course, all of those authors have numerous books, but those are the books that I've read, and the books that have influenced me. In addition to the books, I like to watch a lot of YouTube videos. Dr. Greger's nutritionfacts.org I've already mentioned, but I also follow Harley and Freely, the Durian Rider and the Banana Girl, Fully Raw Christina, Megan Elizabeth, and Arnold of Arnold's Way I find funny. I never miss a video from any of those people. Well, those are the people that have influenced me the most. I'd be curious to know, who are your biggest influences? Well, thanks for watching, and until the next time, cheers.